anytime we feel any kind of unrest, we escape. And that is a betrayal of that piece that we really know in there. And to me, that is really what's happening right now. And I would call the breakdown in the transformational times that we're in is a breakdown of meaning, is a breakdown of love, is a breakdown of connection with that deepest, most beautiful part.
Welcome to Collective Guidance. I'm your host, Charla Goodnight. Today, you guys, I have a guest that I think is definitely needed for us to have a conversation with. It is Morgan Rich. He is the founder of Beyond, a space where people become alive. He is a heart-centered guide and mentor dedicated to helping individuals, especially men, step into their deepest wholeness, fulfillment, and authentic expression. His work is rooted in the belief that true purpose and satisfaction come from living as our most unique and beautiful selves. Morgan's message is clear. It's time for beautiful, emotionally grounded men to fully inhabit their passion, integrity, and inner strength. Especially in times like these, presence and love are the revolution. Thank you so much, Morgan, for coming on and sharing space with us and having this important conversation that needs to be had about men.
Thank you for having me. Just thank you for the energy you're putting out into the world, both for women and for men and for all of us at this time, which is really an interesting, challenging, transformational time in our lives. And there's a lot going on that is asking us to show up in really big ways. And feels like part of the training that I do and we do, that we've got to get ready for it. And we've got to be ready to step forward and into the difficulty, towards the discomfort, towards the adversity, towards the challenges, not keep pretending that they aren't there, not keep numbing and checking out like it's so easy to do with our devices and all the different ways that we numb in this world. So good to be having the conversation. And like you said, it's important for men.
Yeah, it is. And important for women to understand about men. So when you say in times like these, what feels most destabilizing and what feels most essential to remember?
Yeah. I had a beautiful conversation a week or so ago with a mom his dad committed suicide when he was 15. My dad died when I was 18. And so like really important turning point in life. And I think for this young guy who I don't even know, but I just heard his mom share about him. And I know for me that inside of the pain and the difficulty of that loss, of that adversity, of that place, something really beautiful woke up. This connection to what really matters in life. I want to call it our humanity, or our way that we know that we want to be in the world, connected to each other. You know, when you and I connected, there's this just like beautiful coming together of just being kind, being thoughtful, being curious, being, like loving each other. Connection to the more than human world, the trees, the birds, the water, the earth, being connected in a way that it's like we know that. And what's happened is that we've betrayed it. We've lost connection with it in this crazy world. In our devices, we know, just if we're really honest, we know that they are not helping us be more connected, more loving, feel better. There's lots of great things about them, right? There's lots and lots of great things about them. But they are numbing devices. They are distraction devices. Anytime we feel any kind of unrest, we escape. And that is a betrayal of that piece that we really know in there. And to me, that is really what's happening right now. And I would call the breakdown in the transformational times that we're in, is a breakdown of meaning, is a breakdown of love, is a breakdown of connection with that deepest, most beautiful part. Because this young guy, I couldn't find anybody to have this conversation with when I was that age. And this young guy is reporting that he's not finding adult men or people to be able to say, like, to help him bring this beautiful part of himself forward. So I think that's what the beyond is. That's the work that we do, is to stand with people in any way, through coaching, through love notes, my sweetheart's beautiful app that she's putting out into the world, through men's groups, through walking, through connection, through listening, bringing that forward in the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think that that is so essential for young men as well. You said the center can't hold without integrity. What does that actually look like in lived experience?
Yeah, well, integrity is huge because it's having our values match our actions. And so it's an expression into the world that is really, really powerful and grounded. And it is a place of, when I've got myself, and that's so much of the work of training for the unknown. It's so much of the work that I do personally, and that I do with all my guys, is training for the unknown, is getting really, really present. And so that then we aren't dependent upon external variables to make us feel loved, to have us feel connected to ourselves. So I don't need the right car, the right clothes, the right house, the right degree. I don't need to go to college and have that be the path forward. Because if I have myself, then the world opens. And when I say that the center can't hold, that when we all stand in that place, outside of the need for the external validation, outside of the need of the cultural conditioning, then we aren't controllable. And that's really, really dangerous. It's really dangerous for the culture, because then it collapses. It's a revolutionary act. And so when we stand in integrity, when we stand in that place, all the nonsense of the world that gets exposed, because it can't hold in the face of integrity. It can't sustain the nonsense, all the bullshit, all the games, all the lack of really caring about each other. It falls apart. So in times like these, when the world is really shaking and there's so much injustice and so much pain, the climate is falling apart. The Epstein files are here, and it's like, how in the world does that, how do people treat other human beings like that? When we're in integrity, that starts to get exposed and it crumbles. And so that's the revolutionary act, is really like strength in self and then in sanctuary together.
Strengthening self and sanctuary together. And what does that look like?
Yeah, it looks like, so again, for what happens with men, I think, and I get asked a lot, like, why is this so hard for men? Like, why is this so
Yeah.
hard for
Why
men?
is it so hard for men? I have 3 boys. I feel for them. I feel for them. I feel like there has been a push for women. Now, I believe in everything for women. Don't get me wrong. I'm a woman, but I also don't like the scale being tipped so far that the invalidation of the boys, my men that have chosen me as mom, is experiencing.
Well, one easy way to say it is there's this perception that vulnerability is weakness. And to be weak, to be perceived as weak as a man is really, really hard. It is sort of soul shattering. Like it collapses sense of self. What we're doing is turning that around to say, we know that vulnerability is strength. Be able to be vulnerable, to be able to say, hey, I made a mistake. Really sorry. I know I said that, to you, and it wasn't kind. And I wasn't in line with how I want to treat you and how I want to treat the world. Hadley and I were talking last night about moments that we lost it with our kids. I had a couple moments in my life as a parent where I really lost it. Like I crossed that edge, and I got super angry, and I threw something across the room and like chipped a window. And my kids still talk about it as that time, that time when you totally lost it, Dad. And what I remember is like, we lose it. Like that kind of stuff happens. What I came back to is the next night or that night, I don't remember exactly when, I just said, hey, y'all, I really apologize. Like I know that I lost my edge. I know that I was out of line. I know that it wasn't okay what I did. And I really apologize. And I aim to do better. It's not the way I want to be in the world. And I love you. And I'm right here. And so that level of taking responsibility can be seen as weakness, right? It's me not performing in a way that I want to be in the world. And so that's okay. Like life is going to happen and we aren't going to be perfect. To be able to take responsibility and own it comes back to that integrity place, comes back to that place of I've got me in that way. So that's one piece. So the vulnerability is weakness. There's another piece in there that happens is that there's this low level teasing that happens. So I had a young guy in my group, in one of my groups. He had a crush on a girl. And so he brought it forth. And he said, like, I know that if I talk about this in the group, that I'm going to have to act on it because you guys are going to hold me accountable to it. And I'm going to hold myself accountable to it. And so I'm bringing it. And I'm a little bit nervous and I'm a little bit scared. And I really like her. And I've liked her for a long time. And I'm not exactly sure how to say that. And so what usually happens in that situation when young guys in the locker room, in the hallway at school, is that there's this low level teasing that's subtle, not subtle. You just want to have sex with her. Oh, you got a crush on her. You got a crush on her. Just any kind of teasing, any kind of poking that, oh yeah, I'm just joking. But that has an impact. What it says is, or even when guys cry, there's a Budweiser ad and all this like big play from the Super Bowl. A beautifully touching ad. The ad was designed to be touching. It was designed to be emotional. The last part of the ad is the dad, this older man standing there, and the son goes, "You crying?" And he goes, "No, the sun's in my eyes." Right there, it's a dismissal of being emotional, of here's this thing designed to have you be emotional that is deeply touching, that is like a beautiful connection between animals and, Budweiser, which is weird. And then there's emotion. And then it's this, instead of being like, yeah, me too. I feel it too. There's this.
And allowing the vulnerability to come through.
Allowing it to be there. And so why is it so hard for men? Because of that kind of crap. And it's not, this is the Super Bowl. Here's an ad. Millions of people are watching it across the world at the same time. That is a highlight of America. That is like a showcase of America. And that's the message we're putting out into the world. Don't cry. Not okay to feel emotional. And so, yeah, it's hard for men. It is hard for men because if we show tears, we're weak and then we aren't there. So that's what we do. Like, I want your sons to feel the support of being able to be in those places. And that's what we do in the beyond. Like, that's the work of like something wants to come alive. So let's not only eliminate the teasing, right? That would be amazing to eliminate the teasing. Like that would be like, if we just stopped all that crap, it would be incredible. But what happened in the group is he got encouraged. He got loved on. He got like, we talked about it for a long time of like, okay, well, what if she does this? And what if that happens? And if you say this, and we like worked into this beautiful place. And then he went and talked to her. And now they're in this like gorgeous, loving, caring connection.
That's so sweet. That's really sweet.
Yeah. So like, that's what's possible.
Why is a grounded, self-connected person so threatening to the systems that are built on fear and distraction? Like the teasing, like it is built to like push boys down in a way to not feel.
Yeah, it's really the center cannot hold in the place of integrity. When there is integrity, all that stuff, it gets exposed. I mean, it just, and it crumbles. Just beautiful stories of one of my mentors, Michael Meade, who, was in Vietnam, or he got drafted to go to Vietnam and he just wouldn't follow orders and got thrown in solitary confinement. And he's like, I would rather die connected to my heart and soul than go out there and kill people for reasons I don't understand, that no one can explain to me. And I don't know them. It's not philosophically aligned with who I am. And he stood for his values, willing to die. And to me, that's the integrity, to say, I am so connected. And as he tells a story, he was in the truth of, we don't know what we're doing here. We don't know what we're doing here. This is really off base.
Yeah, we shouldn't be here.
We shouldn't be here. We can have lots of different feelings about it, but like there's a certain place in our culture right now of we shouldn't be here. And you can see it in, I'm going to bring the Epstein files in, here we have all these men across, this isn't political. This isn't about, like Trump is a bad actor. This isn't like, oh, we're going to go get the right or go get the left. Or this is across
Right.
the board. Deepak Chopra,
Yeah.
Bill Gates, we got to ask, like, what in, I've just been sitting with it really deeply for the last many years. What in the world is going on?
Well, and also it sounds like there was a lot of women involved into it as well,
Right.
with recommending other young women. And so the men were not only the bad actors, but there were women as the bad actors as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And to me, this isn't like, oh, those bad people over there, look what they're doing. This is not that. This is, we are in trouble. That we collectively, this is part of our story. This is part of our culture. We got to look at the place of like, what is my piece of this? To me, it's the betrayal of self that we have here are like global billionaires, the wealthiest, most successful people in the world who have plenty of resource, plenty of money. But what happens is that they have all of that stuff. They have everything, the American dream, and they aren't happy. And they feel powerless because they aren't connected to their self. They've betrayed, they've fallen into a story that the more yachts, houses, success, power that you have, the happier you are. It is just flatly not the case.
yeah, and then they are reaching out to vices such as sex and sex of young women.
Power.
Because
power over.
Power, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's so
Yep.
funny you say that, power over. Yeah, because some woman in her like middle 40s that's going through perimenopause will be like, oh, hell no, you are not telling me what to do.
Totally. Right.
Or a woman
Right.
in menopause, you know what I mean? Like, so they're going over, to power. Yeah.
That's right. Anyone who has integrity, right? Who is with themselves. Perimenopause, menopause, 18-year-old, doesn't matter. If they have themselves, they don't play that game. And then the sickness is exposed. And then what happens is the men get angry about that, right? And then they increase the power. They want to get stronger. That's the unhealthy masculine that we see. Domination, manipulation.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the unhealthy masculine. How do men bring it back to healthy masculine?
I mean, that's what we're doing in the Beyond, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. And it starts with your kids, and my son is 24. And what I would say is people are just like, what's going on with all the young guys? Like, what's going on with all the young guys? I
wanted to talk about the young men. There seems to be a lot of detachment and not able to socialize, connect. Seems to be a higher rate of depression for young men now. What's going on there, and how do we get our young men back?
Yeah, higher depression, higher anxiety, massively high suicide rates. The joking, the ha ha ha, the kid is in the basement playing video games. Kids are actually in the basement playing video games, wrapped up in porn, wrapped up in all, and just to be fair, let's be really fair about this, that the access to those things of when you're feeling dysregulated, all of us, right? We all have addictions in ways to our phone. Whenever we're feeling dysregulated, the ability to numb it, to go reach for something, to get out of it is right there. It's so, porn is 3 clicks away or 1 click away, right? Video games are right there, and they're designed to get us connected and out of ourselves.
Right, because we're feeling dysregulated. We are reaching outside of ourselves for something to numb it. How do we become aware of the dysregulation for young men, and what are the solutions for that?
Right. So, okay. So just like, I want to be kind to the guys because the access is really easy, right? It's just so easy for them to fall in there. Okay. So just some compassionate understanding that culturally we're in trouble, just because of that. So one of the solutions is like what I see happening again is that I believe that we all have this deep belief and connection with self. We have that sense of what's right about the world. We know what it feels like to be loved. Somewhere inside of us, we know how to be human. We know how to treat people. We know that piece of love. And young people, I would say the veil is thinner, let's call it. And especially in death, right? Why is it that I experienced such a flood of that when my dad died is because I'm right there asking the biggest questions of life. What is life about? Why am I here? What is, and so the veil to that other world, to all that is, to love is right there. So I feel this, like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And this is like, if the world were like this, it would be gorgeous and we would be in love with each other and it'd be passion and intimacy and playfulness and joy and laughter and meaning and depth and like all this really good stuff. Why are we not talking about this? Like, I'm in college and I'm like, where is a class about this? Where are the people helping me understand this, bring this forth, cultivate this thing? Like, I need some help. And it's not there. So then I'm like, am I crazy? Like, I don't see out in the world where this beautiful feeling, where this integrity, where this way of being that we know is there. I don't know where the access is. So then I collapsed into myself. I was like, I think there's something wrong with me. And what is going on in the world that this expression can't come up? And then there's people manipulating, torturing young women for sex. And that's what's happening. Like, that's what happens if we get successful. Like, that's really far from this. And so then it's just like, okay, that really, really painful. Like, that is painful enough that I want to go into the basement and play video games and disconnect from the world, because there is not hope. There's no hope there. I don't look out into the world and go like, oh, this sense that I have in myself, this feeling of aliveness, this feeling of being taken care of and loved and held and all the beauty that's there, there's nowhere for it to go. Because, like, where is it? All I see is people doing horrific fucking things to people, and leaders not being honest, and people not happy and regulated. Like, this is like, yeah, I'm going to go get high. you know? Because it's painful out there. So that to me is the crisis. That to me is the crisis. And so again, the antidote to it is the beyond, is places of you and I right here shining light on there is a different path. Here we are, adults and parents, imperfect, right? We aren't perfect. We're doing the best we can. And when we make mistakes, we're willing to say, hey, my bad. I really apologize. I really messed that up. I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you.
It's so funny that you say that, because last night I had a conversation with my middle son about that. And I said, I really didn't show up for you the way that I should have showed up for you. I should have been more curious and I should have asked more questions instead of immediately going into tiger mode. And I apologized for that. And he said, it's okay. You're human. Thank you for acknowledging it. And thank you for the apology. And I'm like, holy smokes. Like, if I would have responded in a, you deserved it, that would not have played out that way, so.
Right. So that's beautiful. Thank you for like that. I love, like, those are such beautiful, beautiful moments. And so inside of there, Charla, what you can see in him is there's a knowing, there's a connection to something bigger in there with him. He was able to meet you there and say, it's okay, Mom. I forgive you. I understand that you're human too. And so there is part of his connection that we were just talking about. Like, he has something in him that is connected, that is in there, that's beautiful and powerful and exactly the energy that we're talking about. You could even go back to him and say, hey, something really interesting happened. I want to just let you know that part of you that understands is really beautiful. And thank you for being sensitive and caring and understanding. And it's just a beautiful part of who you are. And I just love that guy so much and love you so much. So he starts to see it.
Yeah. And he can own it when he's in the wrong with other people.
Correct. And he starts to know this sensitive part of myself is beautiful. Like, there's something in there that maybe he's not seeing or understanding, like how remarkable what he did was. and you.
Yeah. What is the work they have to do to repair this culture right now with the whole, like, I mean, the
Yeah.
Epstein files, everything.
Yep.
Like, what's the male's job in moving humanity into more, I guess, maybe like trust or just repair in the culture?
Yeah.
Or do you even have a role? Do you not do, or do
Yeah.
you say, it's not really our responsibility? Those guys are dicks and they did what they did. That's not who I am. So it doesn't really matter.
I do think we have a role, and I think it's important to own it and to name it. And I think it's a combination of, one is the healing is culturally, right? We are at an adolescent stage of development. We are at an unhealthy adolescent stage of development as a nation, as a country, right? And we're in an unhealthy masculine version of it. So yeah, we have a responsibility to heal that, because it's not working and it's causing a huge amount of harm and a huge amount of unrest. And it's creating this beautiful opportunity to create a transition. So yes, we have a responsibility. And the mirror is that when I do the work here, that's the work for out there. These aren't out there problems. These aren't out there things. They're right here. So when I bring love, when Hadley and I are in it and making love in all the beautiful different ways we do, through connection, through making food for each other, through actual lovemaking, physically, sexual, beautiful, intimate, through conversations, through honesty. When we're in that, it is a vibration into the world of love, a conduit in. So what can we do? Like, how do men take responsibility? Like, it starts with that I've got me part of really coming home, being willing to step out of all of the noise about who I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to be, all the external validation, and do the actual work of starting to love myself, of starting to appreciate that here I am, this unique being right here. I am the only person who can live Morgan's life. You are the only person who can live Charla's life. No one else. You can't be anybody else, and you can't be me. I can be me. I have my story, I have my body, I have my friends, I have my parents, I have the place I was born, I have the capacities that I have the mental acuity, I have the education. That's mine. And it's not perfect. There are lots of dark places. I was just this morning in a meditation healing some really deep pieces of wanting to feel loved, of feeling abandoned, of feeling scared, of feeling insecure. And so really addressing those places and coming to a place of how do we do the simple work of coming home to ourselves. So for me, I'm going to make this like super simple. You asked, what can we do as men? Sit
Right.
5 minutes a day in meditation. Just sit 5 minutes a day. You don't even have to call it meditation. It doesn't even matter what you call it. Just sit 5 minutes and start to learn how to be with yourself. Just start to learn how to feel right here. Here I am, taking this breath. It's okay. I'm not dying. I'm right here. I'm right here. There's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of sensation. There's a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of all these kind of stuff, but I'm right here. And you do this, like you do this in your podcast where you have people put hand on heart, hand on, right? Like just be right here. This is where it starts. It doesn't have to be more complicated than this, because without this, like this is the foundation. And you just do it day after day. And you get to know, like, here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am. And just start to really fall in love with yourself and take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And then you start to just turn the volume up, right? You slowly turn the volume up. Now you find another man who you can share things with, who isn't going to bring that teasing energy. Again, this is what we do in the beyond, right? This is what the groups are about. This is what the work is about. It's about really connecting in to, okay, here we are taking care of each other. I don't have to hold it all myself. And then you bring in discomfort training. You start to increase the amount of sensation in that moment of, let's say, cold water. So you start to get uncomfortable and start to learn how to be in the adversity, start to move towards the discomfort, not away from it. You really start to cultivate this sense of, I can do hard things. I can have the hard conversation. I can step towards that beautiful part of myself that wants to emerge, that is scared shitless about having this conversation with my partner, with my boss, with my kid, that I can do this because it's real. And if it goes, when Duncan had the crush, we might say, like, we don't know how she's going to respond. She might be so excited and thrilled. she might say like, not interested. You don't know. And if she says that you're not interested, you stepped out and you took a risk, and it's going to be okay. We got you. We're right here. We're right here, and we'll work it. You want to say this because it's going to feel good to step into these places. It does feel good to step into these places, to bring our courage and our vulnerability and ourselves forward. But we haven't learned that yet. So we got to do the work to help our nervous system, our cells, our body, our just whole emotional system to learn that it's going to be okay. The adversity is okay. And again, the world is full of adversity, and it's tempting to want to act out. It's tempting to want to choose sides. It's tempting to want to get angry. It's tempting to want to do all these things because we haven't trained. We don't know how to be in the adversity. So it's right here. And that, to me, is a message to all the energies of the cosmos that says right here is the energy we want to have in the world. Right here. I can do this. I can be with you right here, right now. I can be in my life. I know how to do that. I can handle it. I don't know how to do that, but I know I can do this. And that's my meditation every day. I come in, I just connect in with that feeling and then live the day as much as I can from that place.
And that place is presence.
Yes. That's correct. That's right. I call it training for the unknown, because in presence, you don't know, like we don't even know where we're going to be 15 seconds from now. We're going to be doing something like we don't know what's going to unfold and what we're going to say and what's going to be happening. So we have to, being present and then knowing that, okay, whatever happens, I can handle it. And the thing is that like things die, people die. It's not all joyfulness. It's not all easy. It's not all, rainbows and sunshine. And so when things get hard, and things are hard today, people are suffering. It's challenging, that we can hang in there, that we learn to have the infrastructure in ourselves, that we can do hard things, and we can see that through the difficulty, through all of what's happening, the culture is crumbling. That's really meaningful. In a forest fire, things have to burn in order for the new growth to come, in order to clear out the old crap and for the new stuff to come forward. Yeah, and the old crap is all the way we've betrayed ourselves. Right. But we have to hang in there.
The old crap is the way that we have betrayed ourselves.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about the sanctuary of fugitives. Who are the fugitives and what are they fleeing? Tell me about that.
Yeah. Sanctuary is a place of safety. Sanctuary is a place of training. Mm-hmm. Sanctuary is a place where we can get outside of the craziness and come home. And in that place, then we can be together. And it's a place to really deepen our expression. And so what I would say is the fugitives are all of us who know and who are doing the work to connect to ourselves, right? All these young guys who know, like your son, right? Who has that sense in him. Like something is alive in him, right? He's this beautiful soul who's able to see that. Like that's it.
Yeah, 1000%.
Right. It's not more complicated than that. Like right in that conversation you had with him, you can see a part of him that isn't about getting into Harvard, and it's not about making $1 billion. It's about knowing, like, wait, we're human. Right?
And he is so smart, Morgan, that he could get into Harvard if he wanted to, but that's not what it's about for him. It's really not what it's about for him.
There's the fugitive. The fugitive is those of us who are saying like,
You know what? I feel like he's a little fugitive.
Yeah, right. Well, it's like there's a lot of people who are looking out at the culture and just being like, this is crazy. This is insane. Like, what is going on? How do we have a culture? What have we done that there are men who are seemingly the most powerful, and women who are seemingly like powerful and successful, and they are they're objectifying people in the most egregious, like how it's so painful, and it is so far away from the way that we can be. And I think probably the reason that we're here in humanity and our connection with the natural world, that the fugitives are those who are saying like, wait a second, like that is insane. Like we cannot do that. There has to be another way. There has to be another way. And I am doing the work to connect to my heart, to treat my life, my people, my, environment as beautifully as I can. And I don't even really know what I'm doing. A lot of the young people, when I was 18, I had no idea. I couldn't have talked about it. But there's that sense of something's coming alive, so to be able to see your son in that beauty, for us to be adults, I love the idea in the old times of, the role of the elder was to watch the young people and to see like, oh, look at how he listens. Look at that wisdom that he shares. He's able to listen in a way that is really, really unique. Oh, and wow, she's really good at listening and playing and building things in the water. She's got this skill and ability that is really, really beautiful. Oh, and that one, they can cook and like taste and like bring things together in this like most magical way, right? And so the elders are seeing, and then they're creating a pathway out of that place. So then they feel belonging, they feel seen, they feel loved, they feel like they have that purpose. There's this thing, a purpose that's really deep in them that people see and acknowledge, and it has a pathway out. That's the work we're doing in the Beyond. And the part of one of the pieces, inhabiting purpose, is this new coaching-ish program that I have, which is like doing that exact thing, where it's like, okay, how do we see each other? How do we hold each other? And Hadley and I mean, I just said to her yesterday, like, I've done the work and like I got myself in so many different ways, but you see me and hold me and love me in a way. Like I've done that my whole life on my own. Like I've had to. Yeah. There's the fugitives. Like the fugitives are those, like we are doing the work, like we know it. And then to be seen and held in that, it just opens up this whole level of possibility of just one, I don't have to hold it all on my own anymore. Now, what frees up when that energy frees up? That I don't have to fight so hard just to feel okay about myself.
Yeah. And to feel seen.
And to feel seen. And so that's it. Like that's the fugitives are those of us who want to be seen, have this thing, and then we're able to see others. Right? We are the revolutionaries. We are those who are saying like, wait a second, I'm not willing to betray myself. I can't do it. And so we gather in sanctuary. Yeah.
It sounds like it is a incredible place for men to be able to come together in a healthy, emotional, nervous, regulated environment where they are safe to be men and be seen by other men without it being competitive, toxic.
Yes, totally. And in the Beyond, right? In this whole thing that Hadley and I are cultivating, it's men and women. It's moms, it's parents, it's partners. It's anyone who really is feeling that I am ready for things to be different. Like I know that there's a different expression, and we know these threshold moments are challenging. That when you step into new territory, things get shaky because you have to let go of the old habits, the old patterns, and step into something new.
You have to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Constantly. Yeah. We're constantly reinventing ourselves. Our cells are not even staying the same. Every day
Correct.
We are growing new cells. We are becoming new individuals every single day. The ego is the one that wants to keep us safe and small and not change.
Yeah.
But the soul desires change, evolution, expansion, and higher consciousness.
We have to do the work to get our nervous systems, because I think our institutions of, our education system is like teaching academics and not this, right? So we have to actually do the work to get.
They're not teaching emotional regulation.
Right. How to get what you just said. What you said is beautiful, right? Yes. Right. We have to do all that work, and we have to have a system, an infrastructure strong enough to be able to actually do that, work. So that's again, like we're developing that, we're learning that. That's the meditation. That's the cold water training. That's the foundational piece that I wish were happening more regularly, but that's what we do in our sanctuary. That's the work we got to do, is to get ourselves ready for that. Exactly what you were just saying.
If someone listening feels overwhelmed or pulled out of themselves, what is one small practice that can help them come back to their center?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're Charlie, you're really beautiful about this. It's hand in the heart,
I
it's
love
hand in
it.
the belly, and it's you can close your eyes and breathe and breathe. And the practice really is, here I am right here, right now. And we can do this right here, taking this breath. I can do this breath. It might be really intense. There might be a lot of feeling and emotion and sensation, but I can breathe right here. I can breathe in and I can breathe out. Just then relax the body. Just notice any place you're holding tension. Just let go, or just say hi to, oh, my neck is sore. Okay. I've been noticing that my hips, I keep bringing tension into my hips as I'm talking because I'm all amped up. So I'm relaxing my hip and just my pelvis. And so right here is it. And then we just keep breathing. Volume goes up a little bit of saying, okay, I can do this breath. And then you go, okay, so I can do this meditation today. I can come right here and connect with the birds and the trees, and they're still here. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And if I do that enough, if I do that today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, here we are in the springtime. What I can notice is that, oh, the flowers aren't here right now. And then a week from now, I'm going to go, oh, wow, flowers are blooming. Oh, and then now those flowers are blooming. So if I just hang out long enough, the flowers will bloom. And then the flowers are going to die if I hang out long enough. And then, oh, interesting. Okay, so now other flowers are blooming. Right? So we go from, here's this breath, hand in the heart, hand in the belly. I can do this breath. To here I am today. I can do this day. All I have to do is do this day. Yeah. And then you do tomorrow.
I love that. I can do this breath right here, right now, to I can do this day. Yeah.
Yeah. And you create a practice, and the practice then starts to ground. And for me, at least, it's home. So that when things get really intense and I get, yesterday I was feeling some insecurity. So I'm like, okay, so I can just come and come to myself, be right there with it. Go, okay, there it is. That's what it feels like. Okay. I'm just going to be with this feeling, and then tomorrow we'll see if it's here. And if it is, awesome. And if it's not, okay. And we just, because we know life is challenging. Life is full of joyfulness, beauty, amazing. The flowers bloom.
So much.
Yep. And then it's also full of death.
And uncomfortableness.
Yeah. And so we just learn, again, coming back to your nervous system, we have to regulate and learn in our nervous system, in our cells, that when things get challenging, it's okay. That's why I love cold water training, because I've learned to be in cold water and just really calm myself down, to be like, okay, here's a lot of sensation. My brain wants to call it uncomfortable. My brain wants to call it bad. My brain wants to run, but I can just stay here, do my breath. Here's my breath. I can do this breath right here with all of this sensation. And I'm learning to train my cells to be able to navigate cells, nervous system, connective tissue, muscles, psychological, spiritual systems, to be, okay, here we go. We got this. We got this. We got this. We got this. So that then when the death comes, when the adversity comes, it's like, okay, friend, I got this.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Morgan, for sharing your insightful wisdom. It really was beautiful. If people want to work with you, how can they find you? How can they follow you? Give us all the details.
All the beautiful details. Morganrich.com is my website. There you can find access to a lot of things. For the listeners, if you go morganrich.com/courage, there's a resource there for really those moments of, how do I take the first steps? How do I, like you just said, if I'm really in trouble, if I want to get on this path, if I want to start to really listen, that's a resource for you. I'd be happy to have a conversation. There's a link there if you want to have a conversation with me about the beyond. I'm a fugitive, and I want to see a path. And so there is sanctuary here. And so I'm really open to conversations. And then I have a Substack, which is morganrich.substack.com. A lot of my writing and some videos and the podcasts that I've been on are there. and then a YouTube channel also where the podcasts are.
Okay, awesome.
At Morgan Rich Beyonder.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the best. Those are the best places.
And we will definitely include all of this in the show notes. So if you want to go to the show notes and just see that information, it'll be there for you. Morgan, thank you so much for coming on, talking about the current climate of the masculine energy and how to navigate in that for them, and sharing your wisdom. Any other time you want to come on and let's talk about men, I am definitely about it. So
awesome. Love it.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to reach out to Morgan, get to know him better, please check the show notes for all the information. And I am so grateful to have you here. Thank you so much.